he was travelling on the train on one occasion to London, and he overheard a man talking about Axminster. And he joined in the conversation and said, do they still make carpets in Axminster? And this chap said, no, they haven't made them for a very, very long time. And when Harry got back to Kidderminster, he said, I'm going to start a company down there. And he just did that. He got a group of influential businessmen to finance the project. And by the beginning of the war, of 1937, they had just 3 Northlight bays, which he literally helped put up himself.
Well, it developed from bay to bay. I mean, there was only one bay to start with. Well, it started from nothing, from a greenfield site, just a field.
There was a gang of local men, carpenters and bricklayers, and, well, we used to call them navvies in those days, you know. They used to dig the drains and all that sort of thing, and everything like that. And, well, then, you know, the factory was built, like, first 1 bay, and then 2 bays, and then, well, now it is I don't know how many bays now, yeah.
My father was down on the building site with the builders, and the boss was down there, Mr. Dutfield, and he asked him if there was any chance of a job for his son who was leaving school in the following Easter. And he said, yes, as soon as he leaves, tell him to come and see me and I will start him up. And that's how I became to start work at Axminster Carpets when I was 14.
I left school and looking for a job, and I got a job at Axminster Carpet. And as the men were getting all called up, I went on the back of a loom, refilling the bobbins, and then after a year, I was the first girl weaver on the front of the loom.
Well, it was big for Axminster, you see. There's no doubt about that, because there wasn't much to do in Axminster, and apart from Bidwell's, I mean, it was a farming area. A lot of the chaps were on farms and gardening and things like that there. There wasn't a lot of industry here. Yeah. Carpets put it on the map, no doubt about that.
The war broke out then, didn't it? And of course then all the chaps were, some of them in TA, the Territorial Army, and they joined up, you see, and of course that left us young lads there to take over, you know. As the war, I suppose they didn't want carpets very much, it gradually declined, so the loom gradually stopped, and the factory went on to making stirrup pumps then, to start off with, you know, for something to do. Of course, us boys were still running around, not doing any weaving. We used to do odd jobs here, there, and everywhere, and we get up to all sorts of mischief.
They set up a machine shop then, and I worked on a capstan lathe during the rest of the war. Screws, nuts, bolts, aircraft screws and things like that for the war effort. It was just lathe work, you know, on shifts, and some of the girls worked on camouflage nets in the factory.
And of course, one time I was with pal Les Broom there, and we were fighting one day, and who should walk around the corner but Mr. Duffield rightly said, you two boys, you can go home. He said, I don't know whether I want you back again. So I thought, well, how am I going home and tell Mother I got the sack? So anyway, he said, come back in 2 days. So we went back in 2 days, and he said, well, if you stop fighting and behave yourself, you can stay on. So I thought, well, I'm still going nowhere. I think I'll volunteer for the Navy. Just after I was 18, but my cousin had gone in, you know, he came home on leave and telling me how grand it was what they were doing. So most of the mates had all gone and joined up. So in May 1942, I was called up for the Navy. So then I had 4.5 years in the Navy, and then when I went to Mobs, I came back in and went and saw Mr. Duffield, and he said, oh yes, welcome back. He said, we're getting you all you lads coming back, he said. So I came back at £5 a week then. So I'd got off a fair bit then.
Now, like I had a brother, the one who lost his leg in Italy, and he joined the factory. Well, as soon as he had his artificials and that joined, and he worked till he was 65.